right, hello everybody. Do you ever hear the expression, the show must go on? Well, I tested everything before, and apparently I didn't lock this one. And the grip that holds the snare drum up. So, what are you going to do? Stop? So if it was live, I might have stopped. If it was a live show, I just went, wait a minute, this is not cool. I've done that before, but can't do it here. So what happened was the snare drum was falling. And the funny thing is, for the not first time, but I'm wearing the pants with the holes, tears in them, and I'm holding the snare drum up with my knee right where the hole is in the pants. And it was starting to go dig in a little bit there. So, but I kept it going, and I was going to play another song, but I'm going to play it now. So, all right, there we go. All right, that was a song that I did with Jim Crean and Stefan, and that's going to be out next year. And this song is just something that I really like playing too. And the singer on this is Phil Moog, and guitar plays Tracy G. Check it out.
You're still living in the land of never, never. Can't see further than your nose. To think the gravy train it runs forever. You'll come up smelling like a rose.
Okay, I'm going to stop, because now the other side. Oh, man. You know how many times stuff like this happens, and you do a sound check, and then you go, okay, everything's cool, everything's good. And then when you go on to play, that's when everything screws up and falls apart. So, that's what happened. All right. Now we're going to play this one again, because I know you guys, and you want to hear it from the beginning without a snare phone on the side. It's my fault. I didn't tighten it. Instant replay.
You're still living in the land of never, never. Can't see further than your nose. To think the gravy train it runs forever. And you'll come up smelling like a rose. gravy, rainy runs forever. Come on, smelling like a
There we go. All right. Thank you guys for joining me today. And as you can see, I got a new kit. This is the little cocktail kit. Cocktail. You know, like cocktail. And we are promoting this kit for the next week. And it's on sale for the Black Friday thing starting, I think it is on Thursday. So normally a $4.99 kit, and if you go on the app and all that blah, 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 it's $2.99. I mean, that's like 4 gallons of gas in California. $299. And it's a great kit, and it's made of the same wood that the other set I play, the Command Series, poplar wood. And the snare drum thing here, I didn't tighten this very well. I set this up this morning. I had to move all the drums out, so I didn't do a very good job. I think I'll fire myself. But kit sounds great, and I've recorded with this kit, actually, and it sounds really good. Now, the only thing I did to this, let me tune that up a little bit, is I tweaked it a little bit by tuning it. playing with one hand sometimes. It gives the other hand a rest. Yeah, so anyway, so I've recorded with this in my studio here, and I was able to tweak it out. It sounds great. Here, I really added some reverb with some overhead mics. I don't know if that's too much. See? I can hear the reverb. I hope you can. So this kit kicks ass. So if you're looking for a good little practice kit or a kit for your son or daughter that's growing up that wants to play drums, this is a great little kit, you know. And when I grew up, I never really had a small kit. I had a kit from the stuff that was left in the house by Carmine. You know, he had a Gretsch kit. I think it was Gretsch, and I played that for a bit. And I think before that, my parents bought me one of those crappy kits with the paper drum. You know, that lasted like 2 seconds, right through the head. You know, boom. Maybe one day I'll bring this out on the road and play this with Last in Line at some gig. Who knows? There's that picture I posted on my Facebook there with John Bonham playing that little kit. He's got a big smile on his face. You know, that's even smaller than this kit. It looks like, you know, everything was attached. The cymbal was attached to the bass drum, all that stuff. So, good practice kit, you know. Easy to get around. And if you're traveling, you need to go to a gig, and this kit will probably fit in the back seat, you know. And the sizes on this, the snares are 13 by 5. And what I did was, instead of putting a white snare batter head on, this is a G2 Evans. This is actually a tom head. But for this small little drum, which has a lot of top end, the G2 warms it up a little bit. It's not so high and toppy. You know, it gives us some warmth. And I'm hitting rim shots, of course. That's the way I always play. And so, good little sound out of this kit, you know, out of the snare especially. And this is a 10-inch tom. Usually I don't like 10-inch toms, they're so small. I like it in this kit. And this is 10 by, I don't know, what could that be, 12? Well, it's 16 is, yeah, it's about 12, because you know a stick is usually 16 inches. So that's a 10 by 12, I assume, and the bass drum's only 16 inches. This is like a floor tom. And I see on the video that the bass drum looks like it's about 20 feet long. This looks like the time tunnel or something. But it's not. It's 20 inch. Let's see. Yeah, about 20 inch, or 18? Could be 18 inches. 16 by 18, you know. And I got the head off, of course. And the floor tom is a 14 by 16. So it's a great little kit. Check it out if you're looking for a really good deal on Black Friday. Black Friday. That starts Thursday. So what's that make Thursday? Almost Black Thursday, or Brown Thursday, or Red. And $2.99, man, that's really cheap. So check it out on the Sawtooth app. They have the app, and that's who sponsors all this stuff. I like to thank them because they've been doing this over a year. It's a lot of fun. Kept me in shape, you know. It actually made me practice. It made me sit there and go, you know, let's come up with some other things. You know? So just a couple of things, you know. I was working on this little thing here. Instead of going, it's a rough triplet, 1 and a 2. Or, see, there's different ways to play different things. No, actually, different ways to play the same thing. That's what I mean to say. Rough triplet, 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2. All right? And you can play it like this. Faster. Could be played like this with 2 on the foot. So this one is right, left, right foot. And then this one is 2 feet. Double bass. And then I was just messing around with this one. 1 foot. It's 3 rights. So you got right, right, foot, right. And that's a cool, different approach because so I'm just making this movement like that, and I'm getting that rough triplet out. So do that too. That right winds up just being a triplet. Right, right foot, right, right foot. So that triplet that I'm talking about, that's all that is. Right, right foot, right. 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2. See, everything slow sounds easy. See? How slow? Faster. Or so all the different ways to play a rough triplet. Rough triplet's killer. I also use them as a fill, like this. 1 and a 2, but I tighten them up and it's fast. Like this. I first heard Billy Cobham do that on one of his albums. You know what's funny with this little bass drum is you can get fast on it, you know? Everything you can get fast on the little kit. It's great. But it still sounds, you know, it's got some beef to it. It's heavy. I shouldn't say beef. You might be vegetarian. It's got some tofu and it's got some beef. So like I said, you know, before, like the snare drum's falling on my knee because I didn't tighten up the bottom clips. Not on the snare drum, on the stand. I just got home. We did 3 shows with Last in Line. I'll tell you about in a minute, but it was pretty crazy. And Heidi's watching today. I must say that we have a visitor at the house, and it's La La Lollipop's daughter, Danielle, and Jason, who works for one top car maker that doesn't use fuel. And they're here, and he made a bunch of oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. And I'm not supposed to eat that stuff, so I had a little piece, just like that. That was good. And holidays are coming, and Heidi's going to cheat. I know she is, because we're not supposed to eat sugar, right? Unless you play the drums. Like the bite of cookie I had, probably to burn that sugar, would be this kind of beat for a while. Maybe I burned half of the chip off just then, but it takes a lot to burn that stuff. Anyway, so what else happened? So we did the 3 shows. We did the Whiskey on Wednesday, and then we drove down to Ramona on Thursday, Ramona main stage, and then we drove to Vegas, all the way back to Vegas on Friday. And that was quite a trip, I must say. And we started with, it was on the internet that our European manager, Steve Strange, who very strong in putting this band together. He's a good friend of Vivian Campbell. They grew up together, and he was a big Dio fan. And when we started doing this, he was instrumental in putting this together and booking the first 5 shows. First, it was a jam we did. That's how we got together. We did a jam, and then we didn't have vocals. It was Jimmy Bain, Viv, and myself. And then we had so much fun. We said, let's do it next week. Next week, Andy Freeman was in town. We had him come down, and he sang the hell out of the song. So decided, let's do some gigs. So Steve put the gigs together in Europe. So it was he passed away a couple of months maybe ago. So we had to go to his funeral service in Forest Lawn. And a lot of people showed up. A lot of bands showed up. It was a very nice service for Steve. And actually, he's such a drum nut. He's a drummer. And as part of his ashes were put in a little snare drum. I think it was a 10-inch snare drum. And they put the ashes in the snare drum into one of those vaults at the cemetery with a pair of sticks. How cool. There's a picture of it on the internet somewhere. Steve was a great guy. We're going to miss him so much. So we had to go to there. Then we had to go to sound check, which is almost as bad as going to a funeral. And then at the Whiskey. And then we did the Whiskey gig, 5 bands open before us. That's always fun. And then by the time we get out of there, we drove down to, I came home, La La night. And then we went to Ramona. Just fantastic crowds and fans. Thank you guys for coming out. And the Whiskey, you have to have a mask on, all that crap too. So people showed up. The place was packed. All the places were packed. In Vegas, we played at Vamped, and what a great time. Except one problem. We were playing up in Ramona. You want to hear 5s? Okay. Those are 5s. They're not even. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you can go Vinny Appice, Vinny Appice, Vinny Appice. That's just one way you can pronounce them, right? But it works. Goes fast. And then there's 7s. It's crazy. I did that on a couple Dio albums. So anyway, real quick, we're driving home from Ramona main stage at 1:30 in the morning, and my flat lot tire light comes on. I go, you got to be kidding. We're up in the mountain, and there's fog, and a lot of fog. But we made it home. And then I went to try to get it fixed the next day, but with the labor shortage and everything, there was no way getting it fixed because we had to leave at 10:30 to go to Vegas. So I had to rent the car. We drove to the airport, rented a car, and what a piece of crap car we got. It was supposed to be a decent car. All they had was it's a name brand, but man, it was so noisy and crappy. Oh, we couldn't wait to get home. It was terrible. So couldn't even, you put the radio on and so much road noise, you couldn't even hear the radio. All you heard was different pavements. Some of them were like this. Then you went over some patches. And back to this. And this road. Then you got to this road. Then you got back to. It's crazy, right? And Lala's here. Lala. Come say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Now come over here so they can see you. I can't see me. I didn't even scroll down, but. Lala Lollipop. There she is. Everybody said hi to her at all the gigs, right? It's pretty cool. Yeah. She's getting her own show soon, I guess. Can I play on your show? Be in the band.
Yes.
And if you're wondering, we're going for Mexican food tonight. We're taking the kids with us.
Taking the kids.
We're not taking the turtles. The
No.
kid, Danielle and Jason.
You're gonna go with us.
All right, so let's take some questions here, and don't forget, check out these drums. The app, Black Friday, $2.99. Can't beat that. I guess I was born on Black Friday. I was born on Friday the 13th. That could be considered the first Black Friday, right? Real Black Friday. That's why I wound up playing with Black Sabbath. I had to show proof of my birthday. You got to be born on Friday the 13th. Okay, let's take some questions. Lala's going to read the questions because I can't see them from here.
Okay. Ever play with the hi-hat on your right and use your left for the bass drum?
Play the hi-hat on the right and use. How would that be? I'd have to cross my legs. No. Simple answer. But a couple of weeks ago we were playing, and I was pushing it too hard. You know, we were playing We Rock. That's the rhythm to We Rock. So a lot of foot work. By the end of the set, I was pushing the whole thing, man. I was just getting into it. Then I felt my ankle going, telling me, no more for me. I need a rest. I'm losing power. And I just had to put my foot on the pedal and play it like that, just to get along. But then I finally did one of these, you know. So I played like this. I can't even play We Rock like this. I can't do it. But I did it for a little bit, a couple of, maybe 4 or 5 bars to give this a rest. Then I got through it. So, okay, next question.
Explain your stick holding. It seems like it's rigid most of the time.
Rigid?
Or like,
My stick holding, I play with the butt end. No, it's not rigid. Very loose. Very loose. I don't know why it looks like that. See, when I'm playing a beat like that, I'm playing on the rim shot, you know? Oops. Nah, you got to be rigid's not a good way to play. You got to use your wrist, you know? So, sorry it looks rigid, but maybe I need to eat more pasta with olive oil. So.
More
meatballs.
More Mexican food.
And that too. Okay, next question.
There was a comment that says it does not sound like a cocktail kit.
What's it sound like?
I don't know. Like Vinny.
That's why I played those songs, because they were kind of heavy, and I wanted it the drums to blend in, showing that this little kit could sound very heavy. Carmine and I had Joe Bonamasso on our show, and we would talk in that show we do, Hanging and Banging, and he was saying the same thing, that, you know, it's sometimes not all in the gear. It's all in your vibe, spirit, your soul. Like if I get on a different kit, I'll sound somewhat like me, you know, and that's a cool thing to develop. But the other thing is knowing what you want to hear. Like I know what I want to sound like, so I tune these drums the way I hear it, you know. And then I listen to it on the sound checks I do here and tweak it, maybe change the mic and, you know, make it sound really, really good. And like I said, there's only a little reverb on here and tiny, tiny bit of EQ here and there. That's it. So it's a great sounding kit, you know. So you can, that's why when you get an instrument or an amp, drums, whatever, you got to mess around with it, tweak it, you know, tune it up like you know, see what the instrument does. If I tune this guy all the way up, it's going to sound really thin, like it still sounds good actually. See, it sounds a little thinner. These fills don't sound good like that. That kind of fill, you need some bottom end on the tom. So I would play it down there. But let me go back to around where it was. See now the same fill? It's still a little high, but sounds better up here. Certain fills sound good in certain drums. Don't forget that, you know, that fill especially. What that is just 3 notes, like this. And you put an extra snare in front. Okay? Tighten them together. Something Bonzo did. So that sounds good on the bigger drum. See? On the snare. That sound good. That's a good way to play. Write your own song. Okay, next question.
What are the best drums you ever played?
These. Sawtooth. Actually, the Hickory kit that I've been playing, I just tried them live. They kick ass. They're not. They're in the garage, but the snare drum's over there. Behind that's the Command Series kit, which is the poplar wood but big drums. These drums kick ass. I love them. Next question.
Are you planning to play in Northern California soon?
There's no gigs booked yet, so we're not doing that yet. Hopefully next year. You know, we got a whole bunch of gigs coming up next year before Def Leppard gets busy. As you know, Vivian plays with Def Leppard, and if he's playing with them, he can't play with us. So, yeah, so stay tuned. We'll let you know on the websites and all that stuff. Okay, next.
Is the set that Carmine used on the Ed Sullivan Show with the Vanilla Fudge the set he gave you?
You know what? We can't remember that. That was a Gretsch set that Carmine used on the Ed Sullivan Show. I think I had some of it. And then, I don't know, some of it I destroyed. I tried to take the wrapping off to make it maple looking, and it tore all the wood off. That wasn't a good idea. And then there's a picture of me you could find. I'm playing double bass. I must have been 14. Little chubby. My mother used to take me to get clothes. I used to have to go in the Husky department. Husky. Hey, Husky. Here comes the Husky guy. And I don't know what happened to those drums. They were killer. Old Ludwig, 2 red sparkle bass drums. I think there were 22 by 14s, 1 tom in the middle. And like, what happened to this kit? Is this the one I destroyed? I don't remember. It's terrible. And like my Holy Diver drum set years ago, I lost a couple of pieces. And then I had a really good friend. I sold him some of the drums. I should have kept this stuff. This is like part of rock history. Or I could lie and say this was the kit I used on Holy Diver. Okay, next question.
Did you ever meet Cozy Powell?
Did I ever meet Cozy Powell? Yes. only met him once, and it's interesting. I think it was around the turn 2000, the year 2000, or 1999. I was sitting at home, right, and I was planning on going to Home Depot because, as you know, I'm like Mr. Fix-It when I'm home. I thought, you know what, I'm going to redo some of these sprinklers in the front yard. They're not working correctly. So I'll go to Home Depot. It was like 7 in the morning, and I'll go get some parts and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden the phone rings, and Sharon Osbourne. Her office. They go, Vinny? I go, yeah. She goes, hang on for Sharon. Okay. So Sharon comes on. She goes, Vinny, can you come to England? I said, yeah, play with the boys. Yeah, when? Now, this is the business we're in. You got to go, okay, today? I almost told her, no, I'm going to Home Depot to get my sprinklers done, you know. You want me to fly to England? So this is the kind of business this is. You go, yep, what's going on? And then she said they're having trouble with Bill Ward. She's having trouble with Bill Ward. They're doing a live DVD, a live show at the NEC in Birmingham, their hometown, live video, God knows what else. And we didn't rehearse. Half those songs I never played. And so next thing you know, I'm on a plane. They sent me over all the CDs of the whole catalog of Sabbath. Back then it was CDs, you know, the portable CD player. So I'm on the plane listening to this. Holy crap, making notes and this and that. And then I went to the NEC, and they worked it out with Bill finally. So it was unfortunate for me, but I was kind of relieved. Because how are we going to play this stuff with no rehearsal, you know? And that's when I met Cozy backstage. That's the only time I met Cozy Powell. And not long after that is when he died in the car accident. So I got to meet him. And, yeah, he's a legendary drummer, the beginning of that Stargazer, you know, that classic, legendary. So, rest in peace, you know. Okay, next question.
Anything in the works with Melody from Liliac?
Melody! Yeah, we might have a couple things in the works. And, yeah, we'll see what happens. I love her. She's great. She sings her ass off. She's like reincarnated Ronnie as a girl, a female vocalist. Great band too. The band rocks, and they're getting a little older now, and they're really good. They're really good. Okay, next question.
Somebody want to know if you are going to play maybe in Ventura too.
Oh, Ventura. I was going to say, where are you playing Ventura? Ventura Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably next year we'll hit some of these places, you know. That'd be nice. I like Ventura Theater. Cool place. I like Ventura.
Nice up there.
Okay, who else?
That's it. All the questions I have right here.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's 6 o'clock. It's time to go to
gonna have to
margarita and Mexican food. I usually get like what do I get? Tostada, and you get a margarita. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. And check out these drums. Can't beat them. I can beat them, but if you buy them, you can beat them. And go to sawtoothworld.com, I think it is, or on their app. And you can check out all the things. They're having a great sale, so it's really cool. Us, you know, Lala and I, we went to the store on Black Friday, and we bought a mixer, 6-speed, because everybody's coming over to my house, my whole family, and we're making mashed potatoes. And the mixer I had was only 2-speed. So this one's like the Tesla of mixers. 6 speeds, pure electric mashed potatoes. And it comes with other wiggly things that you can plug in there, too. You know. So thank you, guys, and I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. And thanks for listening to all this music and putting up with me. And I'll be back next week. And thanks for watching this. I really enjoy doing this, and I love all you guys. So happy Thanksgiving, okay?